Well, looks like Canelo Alvarez has vacated his 175-pound title that he got from beating Sergey Kovalev. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link, and it definitely helps the channel. Now, Canelo Alvarez has decided to vacate his belt that he got just 6 weeks ago when he defeated Sergey Kovalev. There was a press release from Golden Boy. It reads, Canelo Alvarez vacates WBO light heavyweight world title Los Angeles in order to comply with the WBO's prohibition against its champions holding titles from other sanctioning organizations in multiple weight classes. Four-division champion Canelo and the WBO have reached an agreement for Canelo to vacate the WBO light heavyweight world title. Canelo won the world title, the WBO title, by defeating Kovalev via 11th round knockout November 2nd. Canelo will maintain his status and privileges as a WBO super champion, including the privilege to be designated mandatory challenger to the WBO title holder in any division. Canelo said, quote, I know that my accomplishments in the ring have brought pride to my fans and my country. I have long enjoyed my relationship with the WBO and appreciate all that they do to preserve and enhance the sport of boxing. This agreement allows the WBO to have its light heavyweight title contested regularly and allows me to pursue bouts against the best opponents regardless of weight class. So Francisco, president of the WBO, said, quote, Canelo has already accomplished much in boxing and is still a young man. When his career is done, he will be regarded as one of the greatest boxers to ever step in the ring and one of Mexico's best fighters ever. We look forward to the future fights against rivals at the top of the middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight, and other divisions. Quote from De La Hoya, we completely support the decision made by Canelo Alvarez and the WBO, said De La Hoya, chairman and CEO of Golden Boy. Canelo made history by stopping Sergey Kovalev in impressive fashion, becoming a four-division world champion. Not only did he show that he's a real threat at 175 pounds, but also demonstrated he's fully capable of moving across several divisions to look for the most exciting fights for the fans. At the same time, we look forward to continue promoting our other WBO champions, such as Patrick Teixeira and Franchon Cruz Dezern. Listen, seen this coming a mile away. Once again, new media just keeps getting it right. I know the haters is mad, but I told you this was coming. I told you Canelo wasn't going to fight at 175. And it's funny because Canelo's own trainer, Eddie Reynoso, had made a statement that Kovalev is still the best at the light heavyweight division, right? This is what he said. He's the best at the light heavyweight division, and Beterbiev is less than him, which would, by default make Dmitry Bivol as well lesser than Kovalev. Now, you can make the argument about resume, but in terms of freshness, I don't think there was anyone that thought that Sergey Kovalev was going to be the guy to unify the divisions or possibly do it based on how he looked. He had almost been stopped in his Anthony Yard fight, and he came back and, held on, turned that around. But he had been stopped by Andre Ward, beaten by Andre Ward, and, got stopped in the second go where he was supposed to prove that it was a fluke, Ward winning the first time. Then he later got stopped by Eleider Alvarez, came back and avenged that. And then he just recently got knocked out by Canelo. I don't know how many belts Canelo has vacated in his career. I remember Golovkin was pressing him, and he's like, hey, everybody give me my belts. And Canelo literally gave him the belt. It's being said that he vacated his belt at 168. Reynoso did an interview at the Oscar Valdez fight, said he's not aware of that. But now, the 175 belt is gone. 6 weeks later, Canelo had that belt for 6 weeks. And, this whole press release from Golden Boy is definitely a fluff piece where they're just trying to make it all, sunshine and rainbows and everybody, oh, look at the accomplishments and stuff like that. But I think it's a bad look. It's a bad look just based on the fact that Canelo has a history of vacating belts. He was supposed to fight Jermall Charlo. That became his mandatory. Golovkin was supposed to fight Jermall Charlo. That was his mandatory. Neither one of them did it. Canelo beat Golovkin and opted to become this franchise champion who WBC president Mauricio Suleiman, created for Canelo. He was the first person to inherit this title. And he didn't fight Charlo to this day. It doesn't look like he has any intentions of fighting Charlo next or anything. And, the franchise champion, people looked at it one way. He was supposed to fight Sergey Derevyanchenko, but his team was messing around trying to fight a 175-pounder in a fight that did not live up to expectations, at least my expectations. Thought the fight was very flat for the better part of 11 rounds. And, the final knockout, to me, just how the whole fight played out, it looked really weird. It looked FAF to me. And now he's vacating the belt. So, this is Canelo's history, him being a 4-division champion. And had it not been for past, vacating of the belts, then it wouldn't be as bad. We've known fighters like Roy Jones to go to heavyweight, but that's several divisions higher, and that that's the highest division you can go. And he fought at heavyweight and didn't plan on necessarily staying there. But if you look at Canelo, his situation is different. Like I said, he vacated for Golovkin in 2016 when Golovkin was supposed to fight him. And also this year alone, he has belts that have left his hand. The WBC franchise champion with Jermall Charlo. So that's one. He did not fight his mandatory. That's one belt that was in his possession that he had to lose. Now the WBO at 175. Then the belt for Derevyanchenko at 160. Right? Derevyanchenko and Golovkin just fought for the title. And in my honest opinion, Gennady Golovkin really lost to Sergey Derevyanchenko. It was a solid fight. Derevyanchenko got knocked down, and they fought for the vacant belt. They fought for it was a vacant IBF belt. So Canelo, that belt has left his hands, and the vacant IBO. So Canelo had the IBF, IBO belt leave his hands. It was in his possession, but his team did not negotiate with Derevyanchenko, who was his mandatory. And they tried to negotiate, but they didn't pay him what he wanted and couldn't reach a deal by a certain deadline that they made. So he was forced to relinquish those two belts, the IBF and the IBO. Again, the franchise belt at middleweight, that's the WBC. And now he fought for the Kovalev belt at 175, WBO, and now we're finding out that he vacated. And then there's I'll say a rumor that his super middleweight title from beating Rocky Fielding, they're saying he was stripped of that or vacated that. So count how many belts it WBC middleweight, IBO, IBF. They're saying his belt at 168, and he just relinquished because he's not trying to campaign at 175. That's 5 belts in a year. That's 5 belts in multiple weight classes, and that doesn't look good. It's not like you got 5 belts in one weight class or 4, with the IBO or something like that, 4 belts, and then you just get rid, you did it for the experience, and then you get rid of all of them at one time. Bro, this is 5 different belts in 3 different weight classes. So it's like, it looks like you all over the place. That's not a good look to me. So once again, I predicted this, new media. We'll see what Canelo does next, but I don't think the way he's being managed, being trapped on the app, his numbers are dwindling. I don't think this is a good look for his career. They're making it like it's like such history. I don't think his fight delivered pure excitement. You got other new faces arising, like Deontay Wilder, the face of boxing. Just people doing Teofimo look great. You got people doing what they're supposed to be doing. I don't see how Canelo, with these types of decisions, is doing himself any favors. His team saying, "Oh, we'll fight." We're fighting the best light heavyweight. But then they knock him out. Why don't you stay at light heavyweight then? I told you wasn't going to stay at light heavyweight, And it's not just about like trying to see, because I know the Canelo man fans get sensitive, and they'll get mad at me for saying the truth. Instead of holding Canelo, who is a great fighter, holding him to a standard, they'll get mad at me like, oh, you just want him to lose. That's insecurity, because how is it that I want him to lose by seeing him fight good competition in the divisions he's choosing? I never told him to go to 175. That was a personal decision from him and Golden Boy to go to 175. So that's an insecurity. That just goes to show you that they don't believe he beats guys, So their insecurities bleed through when they make comments like, oh, you just want to see him lose. That's why you want to see him fight Charlo. So then everything you've said about Charlo is BS. Because if you're surmising and suggesting that I just want to see him lose by fighting Beterbiev and fighting Charlo, then that means you believe guys like Charlo or Beterbiev or whoever can beat him. So I don't know what he does next. There's great fights out there for him. We now know it's not going to be Dmitry Bivol or Beterbiev, because if it is, why would you relinquish your belt if you had any intentions of fighting at 175? So I told you, and this just confirms what I've already told you. So he's going to look to campaign at 160, 168, or maybe even a catchweight. A catchweight will be horrible. Any more rehydration clauses or weight stipulations will be horrible. If he's like, oh, I don't want to go back to 160, so I'll fight Andrade at 164.5. Any of that type of stuff is nonsense. I doubt he fights David Benavidez or Caleb Plant. It's just, we'll see what he decides to do. But to me, this is not a good look. The names that have been thrown out there are guys like John Ryder coming off a loss, Billy Joe Saunders, who looked horrible in his American debut on the KSI Logan Paul card, Caleb Smith, who really lost to John Ryder, but they robbed John Ryder, and Ryota Murata in Japan, horrible. Ryota Murata just, he's probably one fight removed from losing to Rob Brandt. He came back and stopped him, but still, he's a guy who's there to be tagged, there to be hit. They're going to try to put Canelo in Japan or something and act like this is some huge spectacle, just like him fighting Kovalev was supposed to be 4 divisions. It's like they're making almost a fake history. So, Canelo's first time in Japan, like this is what fans have asked for. Meanwhile, you got guys like Demetrius Andrade on his label with DAZN, and he's fighting Lucas Keeler, and people are making fun of that fight because he can't get the better names like Triple G or Canelo. It's absurd. You got guys like Charlo, who's fighting Jaime Munguia leftovers and stuff and destroying them, and we want to see him fight Canelo or Triple G, but he can't get those fights. So, this is what old media does. This is what the racist fans do. They want to criticize Charlo and Andrade for their opposition as if they don't want to fight the best number 1 and 2 guys, or the guys you say are number 1 and 2, and they want to fight them. They're pursuing them. They're backing them into a corner. It takes time, because these people, like when Triple G was a champion, Canelo now being a champion in A side, they don't simply want to fight, and it's all too apparent. So Canelo's going to continue to get criticized by his fellow countrymen, people like David Fatelson, Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales, because look at the movements. He lost 5 belts in 3 divisions in less than a year. That's pretty significant. And I say loss as one way or another, had to relinquish, vacated, got stripped. Something happened where you lost all. No one else is being managed like that. So I really don't even understand why they're doing that to Canelo. It's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Canelo vacates another one. Another one bites the dust. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.